Welcome everyone to class 111. This is Intro to Creative Writing with AI. For many of you, this is going to feel super intro, okay? But I'm going to tell you right now, stick around because it's good reminders. So you have to learn how to construct your own prompts and adapt them over time as the models change and gain more capabilities. The other thing that I'm going to keep emphasizing here is prompt is key, okay? Prompt is the number one way that you can change things. How many of you learned in school how to focus a microscope? Does anyone remember that? If you didn't, I'm going to tell you what they told us. It's starting in like 7th grade. So you had a microscope, and the first thing that they told you to do was to use the macro tune, not the fine tune, but you had to turn the big knob to get the focus first, and then you got to turn the little knob. It's just like that with prompt engineering. Your prompt is your big knob. Okay, that always has the biggest lift. So just make that note to yourself. Your prompt is your biggest opportunity to make a change in what the AI spits out. Now, if it's the biggest opportunity, what happens if we all use the exact same prompts with no changes to them? Are we going to probably get very similar outputs? Yes, that can happen. So your ability to learn how to construct your own prompts and adapt them, start off using prompts that people have given you, and then learn how to change and adapt them for yourself. Okay, so fundamental principle is S-state. Pop quiz. What should you do if your prompt doesn't work? How many of you, the first thing you do is change your prompt? I will admit I'm guilty on that too. Yeah. My first recommendation, and it's hard to override this habit, try running it again. Try clearing it out and running it again. The reason I say that is because it sometimes is just a bad dice roll. So you guys are pretty familiar with ChatGPT and Playground. We just showed those. Let me show you Claude Chat a little bit. Claude Chat is also very bare bones. You cannot change the temperature or anything like that in Claude. The only time you can change any of the parameters with Claude is if you are working with Claude and Rexy, which Rexy is the proprietary software of the FFA. You can add a file here. If you hover over it, you'll see that it accepts PDF, text, CSV, etc. I recommend that you do .txt files. If you're wondering how to make a .txt file, if you use Google Docs, for example, you'll want to go to File and then Export, and TXT is one of your options. So you can upload those. And then the other one that I talked about here is OpenRouter. And OpenRouter is really important because OpenRouter is another one of the backbone parts of Rexy. OpenRouter is how we access all of the different open source models, especially the ones that can write sex scenes and violence. One limitation, when we're all hammering on ChatGPT, for example, how many of you guys have noticed that ChatGPT will be fine one day and then the next day it's like it's got a split personality and they can't do half of the stuff it did yesterday? Yeah. It's because of an aggregate of activity that is on ChatGPT at that time. And they're on the back ends playing their knobs and their tools and everything like that. When you access through your API key, though, you do have some level of you're only being judged on your usage. You're not lumped into the same category as the person next to you hitting it with their API key. Okay, let's keep going down the list here. We just gave a preview. And again, we have individual classes on all of these that go very, very deep. Okay, so what does the future look like? Training your own models, your own personal AIs, knowing how to speak robot is going to be a fundamental skill. So let's talk about this. Training a model, it's heavily involved. There are data sets and people doing this, but they're not necessarily like breaking the mold each time that they're doing it. And you have to be careful because some of these training data sets that are being shared freely and openly on Hugging Chat, for example, they do include copyrighted material. And that is an issue that is currently in the court system right now being decided on. Does that fall under fair use or not? So I don't have any plans to train my own model right now for a number of reasons, but I am fine-tuning. Fine-tuning with GPT 3.5 16K costs less than $5 a data set to make it write like us. And we have an entire fine-tuning class project that's going on right now. You're welcome to watch those replays and join us at any time.